Hi everyone. So very good evening and welcome back to CGB Mentors. So in this particular class we are going to complete your top 50 questions for PFRDA Commerce and Accountancy, right? So yes, just a second and we'll start. Fine. So I have added few more questions to it. Okay. So just wait and we'll start. Okay, so question number 31. Question number 31 talks about the bonus issue is not made unless partly paid up shares are made fully paid up. It is provided in the articles of association, both A and B. Company has obtained credit rating. Approval is taken from the registrar of companies. So hear me out very carefully. This is not a borrowing where you need to take credit rating. ठीक है, ये किसी तरीके की borrowing नहीं है, तो credit rating की आपको कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. Yes, so the correct answer is going to be option A and option B. Both are correct. First of all, if there are any partly paid up shares, you have to make them fully paid up, right? And after that, you can go on and issue. Now, next is it should be given as per your articles of association. So the approval should be there in your AOA for doing the bonus issue. Important it is. So we have done it. Now next is in case of further issue of shares, the right to renounce the shares in favor of a third party must include an express right of renunciation, should include a right only if articles allow, is deemed to exist unless restricted by articles, cannot be given without registrar approval, and exists only with the board special resolution. Tell me the answer for this. Question number 32. In case of further issue of shares, the right to renounce the shares in favor of a third party. Tell me, what do you think is going to be the correct answer for this? Anyone else who would like to try? Here we are not specifically talking about the right shares. Remember that we are talking about the further issue of shares, and yes, the correct answer is C. Section 62 Companies Act, right to renounce share is deemed unless articles restrict it. It ensures flexibility for the shareholders to transfer the rights. ठीक है, shareholders आगे ये right transfer कर सकते हैं, and this was an important provision which is usually we do not discuss anywhere. Now question number 33. A company's shares face value is 10, right? Book value is 20. Okay, right issue price is 30 and the market price is 40. It's an easy question. While recording the issue of right shares, the securities premium is going to be credited with. ठीक है, यहाँ पे आपको बताना है कि when you are issuing the right shares, with what amount you are going to credit the security premium. आप security premium कितनी value से credit करेंगे. So you have been provided with the face value. Always remember, market value is something that will be useful for me when I am talking about the value of right. जब मैं value of right के बारे में बात कर रही हूँ, तब वो मेरे लिए useful हो जाएगा. Otherwise, see this, face value is given to you 10, book value मुझे कोई मतलब नहीं है इससे, right issue price is 30. That means I am going to collect 30 rupees from the shareholders. This is something which I will be receiving from the shareholder, right? Face value is 10 rupees. So that means the extra amount which I am collecting from the shareholder, this remains the share premium for me. ये मेरे लिए क्या हो जाएगा? Share premium. Okay, great. Question number 34. A right share enables existing shareholders to maintain their proportional holding. Right share issue does not cause dilution in the market value of shares. These are the two statements, and if you are somebody who has done the right issue of shares, you will be able to easily answer this. Number one is you have to see the language of the question. They are saying right shares enable existing shareholders to maintain their proportional shareholding. Enables का मतलब it gives you a chance. It gives you a chance. Now, if you will renounce the shares in favor of someone else, अगर आप किसी और के favor में renounce कर दोगे shares, then your chance is gone, right? आपका चांस चला गया. एंड नेक्स्ट इज राइट शेयर्स इशू डज नॉट कॉज डाइल्यूशन इन द मार्केट वैल्यू ऑफ शेयर्स. मार्केट वैल्यू ऑफ शेयर्स में डाइल्यूशन कॉज नहीं करते हैं. Whereas whenever we calculate, there are two kinds of prices calculation. One is the come right price and other one is the ex right price. Whenever you will see the come right price and whenever you will compare with the ex right price, you will always see a difference, right? So ex right price जो है वो आपका कम हो जाता है. Why? Because before issuing the right shares, people are ready to pay more in order to get your shares, because along with those shares there is a right also which comes. They know कि अभी हमें extra चीज मिलने वाली है. But once the right issue happens, after that the market price is obviously going to dilute. वो कम हो जाएगी. ठीक है, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Question number 35. Which of the following is not a condition for issue of bonus shares? ठीक है, बोनस शेयर्स के इशू के लिए क्या कंडीशन नहीं होनी चाहिए? सी रीड ऑल दीज कंडीशंस एंड दे ऑल आर एप्लीकेबल एक्सेप्ट वन. ठीक है, एक को छोड़कर बाकी की सारी कंडीशंस आपकी एप्लीकेबल हैं. ओवर हियर it should be authorized by the articles of association. Yes, right? First of all, you have to make all the shares fully paid up. Yes. Company has not defaulted in the payments of deposits, debenture, interest. Yes. And company has not defaulted in the statutory dues of employees. Yes. So all the dues must have been paid by you. सारे dues अगर आपने pay कर दिए हैं, then you are ready for issuing the bonus shares. But it doesn't matter whether you have enough balance in your bank account or not. Very good. बहुत बढ़िया. So yes, so that is the condition. So the point over here which I am trying to tell you is you need to know all the Companies Act related provisions for the bonus shares as well as the right shares. दोनों के लिए आपको सारे provisions जो हैं वो पता होने चाहिए. Now next question is X right price per share is calculated as. एक्स राइट प्राइस को हम कैसे कैलकुलेट करते हैं? देर आर मल्टीपल आंसर्स गिवन टू यू, राइट? एंड इन दिस यू विल बी एबल टू इजीली गेस. देर इज वन which is given more prominently, more elaborately. So remember this. X right price, how you are going to calculate? What is the come right value for the existing shares? I will do a question on this as well. ठीक है, हम इस पे एक क्वेश्चन भी करेंगे. Plus what you are getting out of your right shares issue. राइट शेयर्स इशू करके आपको कितना पैसा मिल रहा है, डिवाइडेड बाय एग्जिस्टिंग नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स प्लस द नंबर ऑफ राइट शेयर्स. एग्जिस्टिंग नंबर प्लस द नंबर ऑफ राइट शेयर्स, दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल एज एक्स राइट प्राइस. इसको हम क्या कहते हैं? एक्स राइट प्राइस. फाइन. नाउ नेक्स्ट वी हैव अ कंपनी इशूज बोनस शेयर्स वर्थ 1 लाख. ओके फाइन. Free reserves given 15,000, capital redemption reserve given 55,000, securities premium 30,000. How much would be utilized from general reserve? हम general reserve से कितना utilize कर सकते हैं बताएंगे इस question में. See, although it's an easy question, clearly now in this question I shall tell you the priority also. Whenever you are issuing the bonus shares, basically what you are doing is you are taking money out of your reserves and adding this in capital. Basically issue of bonus share is called as the capitalization of reserves. Yes. So number one, your priority should be capital redemption reserve, because capital redemption reserve is created and this can be utilized only for issuing the bonus shares. तो ये आपकी priority 1 होगा. Number 2 होगा आपका security premium. Security premium reserve can be used for 5 specified uses and one of them stands bonus shares. ठीक है, उनमें से एक आपका bonus shares होता है, इसीलिए आप use कर सकते हैं. बाकी अगर आपके पास में कुछ भी बचा हो तो आप वो free reserve से ले सकते हैं. So see over here, total bonus is 1 lakh. First adjusted with CRR, security premium 30,000 and balance would be taken from general reserve. Always remember, free reserve, whenever we say, this word means that these reserves are available for dividend distribution, right? And it is an umbrella term which includes everything: P&L balance, general reserve, right? And any other kind of free reserve. So remember that this question was framed like that. So E is not the correct answer. Now a company has 50,000 partly paid up equity shares of 10 each, 7.50 called up. To issue bonus shares, they are made fully paid up by utilizing the reserves. How much per share will be capitalized? कितना capitalize करेंगे हम per share? Very easy. 2.5 rupees remains unpaid. 2.5 rupees remains unpaid, and this is what something you are going to capitalize. इतना अनपेड है और यही आपको क्या करना है? कैपिटलाइज करना है. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. A company has equity capital of 50 lakhs. It issues bonus shares of 5 lakhs from general reserve. The number of bonus shares and the ratio is. Pretty easy question. What are the number of bonus shares you are issuing? This is 50,000 shares, and clearly you can see the ratio. Okay, 50,000 shares, and over here you have the 5 lakh shares. So 1:10. क्या आएगा आपका ratio? 1:10, right? So pretty easy question. 1 share for every 10 share held and 50,000 shares. These are your bonus issue. Now next is a company offers right shares at 25% premium, 25% premium पे. ठीक है. Market price before right issue is 150, ratio is 1:4, value of right and X right price will be. आपको X right price निकालना है. कैसे निकालेंगे? 25% premium, so we are assuming that the face value is 100. ठीक है, हम क्या assume कर रहे हैं कि face value क्या है? 100. So that means your right issue price would be 125 rupees. How you will calculate X right price? X right price हम कैसे calculate करेंगे? So 150 rupees is the market value of existing shares for every 1 share held. ठीक है, आप every 1 share held और 1:4 is, that means for every share held you are issuing 4 shares that you have held, 1 share you are issuing. Now logic over here is they have told you a ratio of 1:4. Many times we get confused and we take it as that, okay, how many numbers they have issued and how many shares they are actually having. But always remember, in case of right issue, you must be having more number of shares to be eligible for this. ठीक है, आपके पास ज्यादा शेयर्स होने चाहिए एक शेयर के लिए एलिजिबल होने के लिए, राइट? सो ओवर हियर इफ यू आर होल्डिंग 4 शेयर्स you will be getting 1 right share. Okay, this was a confusing point, so just remember this. Your X right price is 145 and what would be the value of right? 5 rupees. Value of right क्या होगा? 150 less 145 is equals to 5 rupees. When most of the questions, bonus related questions, they usually mention कर देते हैं that if you are holding these many shares, we will give you this much shares. But if it is written like this, always assumes that if you have 4 share, then we will give you 1 share. अगर आपके पास 4 शेयर हैं तब हम आपको 1 शेयर देंगे. ठीक है, अगला क्वेश्चन. अ कंपनी इश्यूज राइट शेयर्स एट पार इन रेशियो ऑफ 1:10. 10 shares if you have, then you will be getting the 1 share. Existing capital 70,000 shares of 10 each. मतलब कि अभी आपके पास में कितनी कैपिटल है? 7 लाख रुपीज. कितनी कैपिटल है? 7 लाख रुपीज, राइट? Now which of the statements are correct? Right shares is issued 7,000, yes, because the ratio is 1:10. Total proceeds would be 70,000, okay, fine. Entire proceed transferred to the security premium, entire proceed transferred to equity share capital. This is wrong because we are issuing the share at face value itself. यहाँ पे यही लिखा है that we are issuing the right shares at par, so nothing would be transferred to security premium. कुछ भी सिक्योरिटी प्रीमियम में ट्रांसफर नहीं होगा. एवरीथिंग वुड बी ट्रांसफर टू द शेयर कैपिटल. सब कुछ आपका कहाँ ट्रांसफर होगा? शेयर कैपिटल में. फाइन. नाउ नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन वी हैव, अ कंपनी इशूज राइट शेयर इन 1:10 at 31 per share. Okay, face value is 10, 1 lakh existing shares. Which of the following statements are correct? Right shares 10,000, fine. Sorry, because the ratio is 1:10. Total proceeds would be 3,10,000, fine. Securities premium 2,10,000, fine. And equity share capital would increase by 3,10,000. This is wrong. This is wrong because equity share capital would increase by 1 lakh. 1 lakh plus 210, 3,10,000. Okay? Yes. So the fourth option remains wrong. Chaliye. Now all the following items, they are classified as fundamental accounting assumptions except, बाकी के सारे आपके fundamental accounting assumptions हैं except. So consistency, business entity, going concern, accrual. Always remember fundamental accounting assumptions are 3, that is consistency, going concern and accrual. Business entity is not the fundamental assumption. ठीक है, business entity is not the fundamental assumption. Always remember that. Kanika Enterprises follows the WDV method of depreciating machinery year after year due to comparability, convenience, consistency, prudence, matching. What would be the reason over here? See, year by year. Now the keyword over here is year by year. They follow it due to consistency. In the year 1, whatever method you have chosen, ठीक है, जो भी method आपने choose किया, that was because of certain realistic conditions. Now after that, just a second. Okay. So after that, whenever you are following the method consistently, this is year after year because you are following the consistency. So the correct thing over here would be consistency, right? A purchased a car for 5 lakh, making a down payment of 1 lakh and signing a 4 lakh bills payable due in 60 days. Now as a result of this transaction, you remember I have taught you the balance sheet equation, right? And over here the correct answer would be, what do you think would be the correct answer? See, it's very simple. Your asset, you have gotten a car for 5 lakh, but at the same time you have made a down payment of 1 lakh, so cash reduces by 1 lakh and your asset increases by 4 lakh. Net increase in asset is 4 lakh. At the same time, you have signed a bills payable, right? So it would decrease by 4 lakh. कितने से decrease होगा आपका? 4 lakh से. Yes, the correct option is C. So these kind of tricky questions can also come. So always remember to solve this with ease and pause. That is important. Now Mohan purchased goods for 15 lakhs and sold 4/5 of the goods amounting 18 lakhs and met expenses amounting 2,50,000 during 2022. He counted net profit as 3,50,000. So which accounting concept was followed by him? Entity, periodicity, matching, money measurement, conservatism. What do you think? Which accounting principle was followed by Mohan when he did all of this? A simple kind of question it is. By reading this particular transaction, what do you think that which of the following principle was followed by the Mohan? Yes, matching principle. It was matching principle that he followed. See, why matching principle? they have shown you purchase of goods, right? Sold 4/5 of goods, met expenses, and then they told you profit. So over here what they are doing, they are telling you revenue, they are telling you expense, and then they are telling you profit, right? So it is going to be matching principle. ये कौन सा principle है आपका? Matching principle. Next is a businessman purchased goods for 25 lakhs, sold 80%. Market value of the remaining goods was 4 lakh. He valued closing inventory at cost. Now he violated the concept of. Easy question. What he violated? When you value your inventory at cost or NRV, the principle that you follow is, see, the thing is, they have mentioned just 2022. They have not very much focused on year. ठीक है, ज़्यादा उन्होंने ईयर पे फोकस नहीं किया है. What they have to see in any question, they will tell you factors in detail. Factors बताएंगे ना वो आपको डिटेल में. आप इस क्वेश्चन में देखिए आपको उन्होंने क्या ज़्यादा डिटेल में बताया है. They have tried to tell you what is our revenue. They have tried to tell you what is our expense. Profit क्या है आपका. So what they have tried to told you elaborately is matching concept. Year तो just उन्हें mention कर दिया कि हाँ भाई during 2022, right? So just don't focus on the year. The concept is going to be the matching principle. Now over here the concept would be conservatism. ठीक है, यहाँ पे कौन सा कॉन्सेप्ट आएगा आपका? कंजर्वेटिज्म का. बिकॉज इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू आइडेंटिफाई योर लॉसेस. आप अपने लॉसेस को आइडेंटिफाई कर लीजिए. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज कैपिटल ब्रॉट इन बाय द प्रोप्राइटर. इफ द कैपिटल इज ब्रॉट इन, दिस इंक्रीजेज द एसेट एंड इंक्रीजेज द लाइबिलिटी टू. जब भी कैपिटल आपके प्रोप्राइटर लेके आते हैं तो आपकी लाइबिलिटी बढ़ती है और आपकी एसेट भी बढ़ती है. Why liability? Business entity concept comes in that the identity of proprietor is different from the business. ठीक है, बिजनेस की आइडेंटिटी, प्रोप्राइटर की आइडेंटिटी अलग है. Concept of conservatism. Now it's a good question. Concept of conservatism when applied to the balance sheet results in understatement of assets, overstatement of assets, overstatement of capital, overstatement of profits, no change in liabilities. Tell me. Question number 49. Yes, it is going to be A. As we have seen in the example of your current assets also, that is your inventory also, that you record it at what value? योर कॉस्ट और एनआरवी, जो भी आपका कम हो. ठीक है, तो अंडर स्टेटमेंट ऑफ एसेट्स, दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंस. यू सी नो चेंज इन लाइबिलिटीज इज रिटन. अगर मैं यहाँ पे लिख देती दैट इंक्रीज इन लाइबिलिटीज, तो दोनों ऑप्शन सही हो जाते हैं. ठीक है, तो ये भी आप ध्यान रखेंगे. Next question we have, Alpha Limited purchased machinery on 1st April for 10 lakhs. Installation 1 lakh, market value was 12 lakhs. If the company values machinery at 12 lakh, which concept is violated? Now it's an easy question. We have a historical cost concept. हमारे पास में एक historical cost concept है which tells you that you should record your assets at cost. जो आपने खर्चा किया है आप उस पर record करिए अपनी assets को. So we record it at cost, right? So that is question number 50. Now we will be doing some questions from your ratios. Let's see the first question. This is our return on assets ratio. So you have to compute return on assets and the things are given to you: net profit after tax, fixed assets, current assets. Now the only adjustment I have included over here is goodwill and deferred revenue expenditure, because I have taught you something that what you should include in assets and what you should exclude out of assets. ठीक है, ये information आपकी current assets में नहीं है, so just ignore the fact that it is written with the current assets. When you are calculating return on assets, intangible assets are allowed to be included, but your fictitious assets should not be included. ठीक है, deferred revenue expenditure is a fictitious assets, whereas goodwill is your intangible asset. तो हम goodwill को तो include रहने देंगे, but we will remove the fictitious assets out of the calculation of return on assets, right? So easily, this is your total assets. fixed asset plus current asset, right? We will keep the goodwill, but we will remove the deferred revenue expenditure of 30,000. Then easily return on asset is profit after tax. हमेशा ध्यान रखिएगा, it is profit after tax divided by the assets used. So my PAT is 6 lakh divided by 18,70,000. Out of the total assets, I have just removed the deferred revenue expenditure, and this is my answer on return on assets. So this gives us the clarity that you have to include the goodwill or intangible assets if they are given, but the fictitious assets should not be included. Example of fictitious assets like preliminary expenses, like deferred revenue expenditure. Okay, these kind of things. See, as per ICAI, intangible assets are allowed to be included. ठीक है? So, but still, if you feel like, just go and check once again ICAI material. ICAI material says the Chartered Accountants Institute that the intangibles should be included. Now, next is return on capital employed, EBIT, fixed asset, current assets, again goodwill and deferred revenue expenditure is given, current liability is given, equity share capital is given, reserves and surplus are given, and long term debt is given. ठीक है, ये सारी चीजें आपको गिवन है और आपको कैलकुलेट करना है रिटर्न ऑन कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयड. वी विल कैलकुलेट द रिटर्न ऑन कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयड फॉर विद बोथ द मेथड्स. लेट्स हैव अ लुक. ठीक है, दोनों तरीके से हम इंक्लूड करेंगे, मतलब कंप्यूट करेंगे. लेट्स सी द कैलकुलेशन बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली वी आर रनिंग लेट विद टाइम. So total assets, fixed assets plus current assets, no issue. But out of your total assets, please remove the deferred revenue expenditure of 40,000 and that will come to 32 lakhs 10,000. Fine. So let's see the capital employed with method 1. Method 1 से कैसे आएगा आपका capital employed? Total assets less current liabilities. Both are given and this is my capital employed as per method 1. Method 2 क्या कहता है? Method 2 says that add your equity funds, long term debt, okay, and reserves. So equity share capital, reserves I have added 21 lakhs, my long term debt is 5 lakh 10,000 and that gives me 26 lakh 10,000. So both the methods are similar, you can use any one. Your EBIT is given in the question directly, 8 lakh 40,000, earning before interest and taxes. Always remember for return on assets में I used profit after tax, but over here for capital employed includes both own funds and the borrowed funds. That is why I am using EBIT, the earning which belongs to both borrowed funds as well as the own funds, earning before interest and taxes. अगर आपको कभी profit after tax दिया हो, so please add back the taxation, please add back the interest component and get to the EBIT. ठीक है, आप EBIT तक पहुंच जाएंगे. Fine. Now next is return on equity. Easy. Net profit after tax is given, but we have to give the dividend to preference shareholders as well. So let's compute the return on equity over here. Preference dividend is 1 lakh multiplied by 10%, 10,000. Out of my profit, I'll give 10,000 to preference shareholders and this is my profit available for equity shareholders. Equity shareholders fund, how I will be calculating? Equity share capital and reserves would also be added. Not just the capital but reserves would also be added. 25 lakhs plus 5 lakhs, 30 lakhs and this is your return on equity. ये आपका return on equity हो गया 5,90,000 divided by 30 lakhs. So this is your return on equity. Okay. Then we have earning per share. Earning per share, same kind of thing is there. Out of your net profit, remove the dividend of preference share. You will get what is earning available for the equity shareholders and just divide it with the number of equity shares. Number of equity shares कैसे निकालेंगे? 15 lakhs divided by 10, 1,50,000. This is going to give you your EPS. So my net profit available to equity shareholders is total profit less preference dividend 10,50,000. 150,000 are shares, so my per share is 7 rupees. This is my EPS. ये मेरा क्या है? EPS. Next is debt equity ratio I have to calculate. So what are my debt? Dividend, debenture, bank loan, public deposit. All three are my debt. What is my equity? Equity share capital plus reserves and surplus. Always remember, always, whenever you are calculating shareholders fund and if fictitious assets are given to you in the question, please remove it. Irrespective of the formula, irrespective of the ratio, you always have to remove the fictitious assets. आपको fictitious assets हमेशा हटानी हैं, ठीक है? So easily, this is my shareholders equity, this is my total debt, and I have calculated debt to equity ratio. See, earlier what used to happen that in debt to equity ratio, long term debt was preferred. But if you will see now, the Chartered Accountants Institute says that they prefer total debt divided by shareholders equity. Long term debt is also given as an alternative formula, but the priority has been given to the total debt. That means you will include long term debt plus your current liabilities also. दोनों को आप include करेंगे, right? This is preferred by ICAI, and if such kind of question comes in and the current liability is also given to you in the question, please follow the formula total debt divided by the shareholders equity. ठीक है? Next we have capital gearing ratio. So over here fixed interest bearing funds divided by equity funds. तो fixed पैसा हमें किसमें देना पड़ता है? Preference shareholders demand fixed dividend, debentures demand fixed dividend. So we'll add this and divided by equity funds, they are equity funds. Reserves and surplus, they always belong to the equity shareholders. So easily capital gearing ratio is preference capital plus debentures 15 lakhs. Equity funds 20 lakhs, and this is my capital gearing ratio. Next is my interest coverage ratio. Simply this is my interest and this is the earning which is available. Always remember this should be EBIT, earning before interest and taxes. So I have this much money to pay for my interest and my interest is 6 lakhs in total. This is your interest coverage ratio which is 2. ठीक है? And last question that you have is debt service coverage ratio. Now here I have added a twist. See this? Net profit after tax 8 lakhs, ठीक है? Depreciation 2 lakhs, interest is 3 lakhs, installment is 4 lakh, loss on sale of fixed asset. Now I have given this over here to confuse you. Always remember that loss is a cash item. ये तो मुझे cash में हुआ है ना, तो I will never include impact. मतलब इसको मैं ignore कर दूंगी, ठीक है? This information is not needed for me in calculating the debt service coverage ratio. तो कैसे calculate करेंगे debt service coverage ratio? Net profit, add back the depreciation because depreciation is a non-cash item. I have not spent anything. I have not spent anything. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे depreciation add back कर दीजिए, interest को add back कर दीजिए, and this is the profit available to you for serving your debt, right? 13 lakhs divided by 3 lakhs plus 4 lakh. This is your total debt. I have to pay interest plus I have to pay installment. So the total money I have is 13 lakhs and I have to pay 7 lakhs and this is my debt service coverage ratio. ठीक है? 1.86. See, your point could be valid, but in that question goodwill is not written whether it is purchased or self-generated, right? We don't know it. So that is why until and unless you do not have the clarity, intangibles are going to be included and the fictitious assets has to be removed. This is my understanding, but I'll still recommend you that go with the ICAI material and this is what is written over there. Thank you so much for joining in, and this is it in this particular class.